All right, I think we are up and running. So I started the Instagram live. So good morning, everyone. It's Friday, and I think we're streaming across three platforms right now. I'm trying out a new software. So I'm trying out StreamYard. So we are on X, YouTube, and Instagram. And I got Sierra from Homes and Hustles. I got Lauren Elaine and Joe Farrell here. So good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Let's do it.
Yes. So I think I want to start with our first topic, maybe kind of why do we make bad financial decisions? Because I know as much as we're trying to, help everyone make better decisions, I'm sure there's things that we're still working on ourselves. So maybe Sierra, you want to start with something?
Yeah, so I mean, I think we all have some weak spots where we splurge or where we don't take, the best financial advice because we feel like we're the exception to the rule. So I would say that's, it all comes down to kind of your mindset, obviously, on stuff and your psychology. But I was thinking for me, like for a long time, I attacked my debt according to like my payment rather than like the interest rate. And so that was one thing I was going to say, like mathematically speaking, I probably didn't approach it the right way where I could probably have invested money and made more than what the interest was on my debt. And instead just kind of tried to get out of it as quickly as possible as more of a behavioral thing. So that's just one thing that came to mind initially about like not necessarily a bad financial decision, but like if I'm just looking at the numbers, I'm not just following the numbers.
Sorry, I'm trying to check on X. Yeah, I think for me too, I think there's still a lot of things that like honestly, I'm probably not the best at budgeting. That's something that I'm probably lacking as far as trying to help my financial situation. And I think I was telling Lauren too, like I think one thing I'm really bad at is eating out. Like I still eat out quite a bit and a lot more than I should. And I know cooking at home and stuff that saves probably saves a lot of money, but and I know I use time as an excuse, but that really isn't the best reason. But for me, that's one of my biggest things is really not being the best at budgeting. That's something I need to work on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
along that line, I've definitely had food delivered and paid an outrageous amount to have food delivered, like if I'm in the middle of working. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm currently making money like in this moment. So I'm just going to tack this on as some kind of expense to like so that I don't have to stop working. But then like the food gets there and I take a break and I eat and I'm like, I could have just made a meal and probably came out way ahead because when I don't know about you guys, but like when I have Uber Eats like deliver food, by the time it's all said and done, like I have paid way too much for that meal.
Yeah, for sure. The fees for delivery are almost as much as the food themselves.
Oh yeah. It's ridiculous. I think I saw something too, like people are pushing back on the whole tipping stuff now. So even that is probably it's kind of getting outrageous now.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I was in Florida about a month ago, I went to a coffee shop to get a latte, and the little touch screen, it has the tipping options, and there wasn't a no tipping option or a zero tip option. You had to like search for the more button and then get to a different screen to get to zero tip. And it's like, come on, guys, like kind of getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I also want to kind of touch on it, kind of relates to the whole topic. Sierra had a post on X that went kind of viral, and it kind of goes over the whole kind of maybe financial decision and maybe where we get our mindset from sometimes or the struggles that we do have.
Yeah. So, financial literacy is one of those topics that I think we're all really passionate about, making sure that we teach our kids or we teach our family and friends about, just how to be financially literate. And that's one thing that we don't feel like we get in schools right now. And so I kind of tweeted something alluding to that about how, I didn't really get any financial education until really post college. And I was trying to figure out, I'm buying a house and real estate and my student loan debt and working, and I just never really grasped the whole thing. I definitely followed some Dave Ramsey stuff initially, just trying to understand like money in general and how to budget and, um, thinking about how to save my way to, I guess, to financial success. And none of that really worked for me. But I'm in a family of highly educated people. So I kind of made a post about that, just kind of trying to paint the picture that like education doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful with money. Um, and it's those money habits that you develop in childhood, carry over, and you, at some point you have to like figure it out on your own, or learn the tools yourself. So anyways, I was talking about how like, my parents are teachers and they're retired, and the financial literacy, that piece of things just wasn't there, even though my whole family is highly educated. So yeah, I just kind of talked about that, and um, talked about how, when it comes to like the system set up in place for us, like Social Security or teachers' retirement or pensions, and I know that's something that you've dealt with too, is like evaluating your pension versus investing. Those things that were set in place don't necessarily keep up with the cost of living or inflation or medical expenses. And if you don't have if you haven't decided kind of early on to figure out that financial literacy piece yourself, then you're kind of ending up in retirement trying to figure out like why these systems set up in place didn't keep up. And so that's kind of the situation that my parents are in, is just, they had hoped, and obviously within reason, figured that retirement and Social Security was going to be more than sufficient by the time that they got there. And it's really hard with inflation being where it's at right now, and especially like medical costs too. Like that's really difficult, and that's even in a low cost of living area. So I just kind of told that story and just painted the picture that like that's something that I'm hoping to do differently for in my generation. And while I love the things that my parents did for us, like we love learning, and we are set up well, like emotionally and behaviorally for our future. Like they definitely moved the ball down the field for us. The financial piece is something I'm hoping to move the ball down the field for my kid.
I can totally relate on that because my mom was a nurse, and same thing. Like, you think you're a nurse, you're going to work 20 years in a career and you're going to be able to retire comfortably. And thankfully, in the last few years of her career, she worked for a union hospital, which allowed to give her a little more retirement. But if she had not done that, I honestly don't think that she would have been able to afford to retire when she wanted to, because it just would not be enough to live off of, which is crazy to me, because you're just like, a nurse, we need nurses. Nurses is such a great job, and they work their whole lives in this career and then they can't retire on it. That it almost feels like we're kind of like the first generation that's really like seeing that for our parents, that we were told that if you like go to school and get a good job, and you will be able to retire and enjoy those sunset years of your life. And we're seeing our parents like not really be able to do that.
Yeah, especially in these fields where they are so responsible for so many lives, right? Like that's kind of like the trade-off, is like you're taking kind of a lower paying job, or maybe more of a service-based job where you are responsible for all of these humans, and it's kind of it's a very rewarding career as far as that goes. But then yeah, it's like it's not set up well for retirement in those fields. Like you really have to take that into your own hands. And I feel like millennials in general are really realizing that when it comes to the Social Security stuff and retirement in general, that you have to have something else set up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the things that
No, go.
that I saw recently, but it goes backwards in time to kind of the beginning of someone's journey. Someone posted, I'll say his name. I'm not a big fan. His name's Grant Cardone. We all know who he is. But he made a post of like $100 bill. And it was something like, yeah, when I first made my first, however many money in 30, 40 years ago, from there to today, that $100 bill is now worth $4 based on the deflation or the inflation of the dollar, the devaluing of our currency. And, if you're holding currency over the long term, you're going to be left with nothing. And the solution to that is acquiring assets in whatever form it may be, real estate, crypto now, stocks, bonds, whatever it may be. And it's like, how the heck do you acquire assets in this environment where people can't even pay their bills with inflation? So that's a big thing that I'm personally seeing for people that I work with and whatnot.
Yeah, having those good money habits makes a big difference there, but it's really hard. I've been playing the cash flow game by Robert Kiyosaki, and it really has changed the way that I see things. Like last night, my money habit that I'm trying to fix is like buying doodads. Anyone who has played that game will know that like everything is a doodad that is not essential. And last night I was like on my computer doing some things, and then I was buying a gift for somebody, and ended up spending like $150 that I was just like, oh, I'm going to buy him a quick gift. And then it was $150. And I'm like, all these doodads, I don't realize how much the doodads add up to be. But if you start to like look at things that way, and then you add it up at the end of the month, you're like, I just spent, $600 on doodads this month. And it's unessential things that I really didn't need. And if I want to give somebody a gift or something, I can make something, or like, I can do something thoughtful still, but it doesn't have to be in this like consumerism way where I'm just like, it's kind of almost lazy where I'm just like, okay, I want to do something nice for this person, but I am busy and I don't have the time, which is essentially not true. Like we do have time. We all have way more time than we think we do, because we're all doing things that are wasting time. And so, but if you just make it a priority, I could have done something nice. I could have like cooked dinner and brought it over to their house and dropped it off or something, but I was just like, oh, I'll just order something for them. So yeah, I'm trying to not spend as much on doodads.
So do you think with all like the technology, like their improvements, like there's way more, financial education products or literacy stuff out there, but also the technology side of, like you're saying, Amazon and Uber Eats, is it also making people, I guess, creating bad habits in a way?
100%. Yes. Convenience. You have to pay for convenience. Convenience is expensive, and we all want it. And it's a way that we kind of like treat ourselves, where it's just like, oh, I don't really feel like going out. Rather than putting in that extra effort, I'll just pay a little bit more, but then it starts to really add up and becomes expensive.
So Joel, since you are on the lending side, do you see a lot of people you think probably with like similar bad financial maybe decisions that they're making?
That's a good question. So I would say that in the last 5 years, from an education standpoint, I think, because credit cards are a big piece of the puzzle that it can hold people back when you start to rack up credit card balances, and then you're, paying 20%. Now it's higher than that these days, and your scores drop, and it's hard to get out of that cycle of trying to be able to, pay your bills and then chip away at credit cards. And, from a lending standpoint and like credit scores, that's the number one thing that comes up. Okay, if I want to help somebody boost their scores fast, pay your balances down to 30% of the limit, and you can get a big jump in your scores. And that was a conversation that was happening a lot in 18, 19, 20, 21. And I feel like right now people know these things. They know credit cards are can hold you back in terms of scores, to be able to get your scores up, to be able to acquire, whether it be a car loan or a real estate asset, things like that. Student loans has become, I think, more of a thing. People coming out of college with over $100,000 of student loans, and maybe they're on an income-based repayment schedule, which that payment's being deferred out, and they're making $40,000, $50,000, and the income piece of it, I think, is one of the limiting factors, people getting into an entry level job and just the income's just not there to be able to do the things you want to do. So the spending habits, I'm seeing very, 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 very creative ways for people that are making a lot of money. And I want to say not a lot of money. I mean, 40, 50, 60K, kind of that middle level range, living at home with their parents, stockpiling cash, house hacking with maybe they're living with roommates, either in a house or someone else's rental. I'm seeing people be more aware of what's going on than in years past. And so I think this infrastructure of where we are right now is just making it tough for people to get ahead, but people are also more aware as well. So it's just kind of a weird dynamic, as you were saying before about the technology, right? The pros and the cons of that. And the people that are getting ahead are the ones that are really focused on adding extra income streams or building skills and building a business on the side, which also means expending a lot of energy and effort, which, for some people you can only do for so long. I have a couple of people that I know that have several full-time jobs. One person is in IT, one person is in consulting, one person that works in the government has 2 full-time jobs. Just various things of people being creative to be able to spend the time now to try to get ahead. And again, obviously there's always people in every spectrum of the range of that conversation, but I don't know. It's just also a weird situation.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people get creative, and I think it is an opportunity for us to maybe like kind of put these milestones aside that we all grew up with. Like, it's not cool to live with your parents, or, those things where I'm just like, when my friends that I know that are in their early 30s and they move back in with their parents, I'm just like, yes, that's awesome. That's really great that you're doing that, because you're setting yourself up for your future, because you're saving that money or you're putting it towards paying off your student loans or whatever it is. And so I think it really is important to surround yourself with people who aren't going to make you feel bad for hitting those milestones, because we all have to do what we have to do in this time to get ahead financially, because it is a little bit of a harder time than past generations.
You're triggering Sierra with that.
Oh, really? Why?
I have strong feelings about people living with their parents.
Oh, well, let's hear them.
No, I think that if you are doing it intentionally and you have this more aggressive mindset where you are using it as a way to leverage yourself, I think that's awesome. I would fully support that too. I just have a lot of peers that I know who have like this limiting belief that they can't afford to go out and live on their own because they've never left. And so that to me, and I don't see them taking much action, as far as like they just keep making excuses, and they have this like cush environment of being at home with their parents. And so I just have like, I don't know. I think that's kind of, those are, that comes down to like your own personality and characteristic and stuff like that. But I do think that some people, especially people who never left, they get trapped in that this is comfortable and I don't know how to ever like launch or do something on my own. And so and there's definitely different scenarios playing out there from what you just described. But yeah, whenever I think about those people, that's what got me into real estate, was like, I'm going to make sure the barrier of entry for home ownership for my son is like so low, so that when it comes time, he's not sitting here being like, oh, houses are too expensive, or I can't like rent and have, without roommates, or I can't, especially like I can't get married and have my own family because I'm stuck living at home and can't afford to like be out on my own. Like, that's one of the things that really scares me for like younger kids, is like, I want that opportunity for the next generations, for people to feel like they can, have a family. And I know already that a lot of our generation thinks it's too expensive to have a kid. And so it's just one of those things that I want to make sure is possible. So like that means stacking assets now, so that like that is possible. But I'm also for like multi-generational living. Like, I think that as far as real estate goes, like if you can get housing that has mother-in-law suites, or multiple living spaces, like I think those are going to be the assets that perform the best in the future, because those are the living situations that most people are going to have to be in order to afford home ownership, or just to have their expenses be manageable for a lifestyle that they want to maintain.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It does come down to being really honest with yourself. Like, are you living at home with your parents because you're comfortable and your mom still does your laundry and like cooks you dinner? Or are you actually saving that money and doing something with that money? And do you have a plan to be able to move out? Like, are you saving up money for a down payment, or are you just there spending your money and not saving, not making any progress, and or doing any work towards having that financial future that you want? And it can really go both ways. And I think that that's also a little bit something that our generation can sometimes use excuses of like, well, we grew up in this really tough economy, and so we haven't had the same opportunities as our parents. But then at the same time, you see people figuring out a way to own real estate. And I see a lot of my friends, some of my friends are living with their parents and they're saving and they're attacking their finances really aggressively, and they're using it as like a moment in time. And then some of them are saying, some of them live out on their own and they're spending all their money on rent, and they're going out to eat and they're shopping, and they're like, well, I grew up in this bad economy and I just can't make enough money. And if you really look at their spending habits, it's like, you actually do make pretty good money. You're just not financially, you don't have good financial habits. And so you're never getting ahead. And so it, again, like it's less about like the environment and more about like our spending habits and cutting out those bad habits, because any person can come, like, we all come from like different financial backgrounds and situations, and you can have bad habits and become really successful in hard times. And you can have, or no, and no, you can't have bad habits and become successful. You can come from a bad situation and become really successful by having good habits. But having those bad habits, it doesn't matter if it's a good economy or bad economy, you're going to just increase your spending with whatever it is that you're making. So I think self-responsibility is like the most important thing, and being like, okay, I'm going to take control, because we all have the opportunity to buy a house or take control of our future. Like, it's not out of our hands. It's not the economy or this or that. It's like the strongest people come up in recessions. And if you can buy a house right now with the higher prices and the higher interest rates and figure it out and have that determination, you'll be successful at any point in time, because it's only going to probably get easier. So now is really like the best time to be getting started, because you know that you'll be successful in any environment.
One of the things I wanted to kind of bring up and ask Sierra this, because we're talking about habits, right? And habits, making changes, right? Building a habit is all about making changes, and it's hard to make changes, especially when you don't really see the full picture. And you mentioned, Sierra, financial literacy, right? When you understand what's possible, and maybe it's financial freedom, maybe it's building wealth, whatever the actual tangible goal is. Spending, financial habits. I mean, how would you say things changed for you, before you had the education or the understanding of how things work, versus later on understanding how it works and having kind of the vision and the goal?
Yeah, so I would say the main thing that changed is I stopped trying to be a saver and I started trying to out earn my cost of living, or create money instead of trade my time for money. And I definitely um, took some pressure off of myself of trying to be the most like frugal that I could be, or trying to like nickel and dime myself. When it came to like making sure I was using a coupon for everything, or trying to only buy stuff on sale, or trying to spend hours shopping around to get the best deal on something. Like, I kind of took the pressure off of handling it that way, and really started looking at ways that I could earn more, or create more money, or make more money. And that was a huge shift, to be able to spend all of that time and energy that I was, probably saving like $50 to $100 and spend that trying to go make, $200 or $300. And the return on my time was much better. I was much happier. It was way less stressful. And so I definitely have that mindset of just, how can I pay for this thing that I want? Or, even when it came to like travel, like what's the best way to, pay for travel? And that's typically with credit card points and being able to redeem them for a much higher rate. And that's, I'm able to do that with regular spending and rack up those points that I, beforehand would never even use a credit card. Like I didn't even have any revolving credit at all. So once I kind of let the pressure go, I think of saving, that's really the biggest shift I would say that financial literacy brought to my life.
We're almost like contradicting ourselves because we're like, you have to have good habits, but then also you can't become so obsessed with saving that you're not focusing on earning. And it really is that nuanced where it's like something can be true on one hand, and then you can hyper focus on it and it can become like a hindrance on another hand. Where if you like penny pinch too much, you spend all your time and energy focusing on penny pinching and saving. But if your habits are bad and you're spending all your money, well, then you do need to learn how to like save your money. So it's like, it's hard, it's nuanced, but you have to just like really be honest with yourself about like where your strengths are. And is this like getting you ahead? Because you really can't save your way to wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. And being able to like step back and look at the big picture and evaluate, like, I mean, even when it comes to real estate, right? Like you could go buy another asset, or you could stabilize what you have and make it much more efficient and probably get the same amount of cash flow out of like really fine tuning your portfolio. So there's like different ways to look at it. And until you really start to understand how all those pieces work together, you can't really zoom out and look at it and think like, where's the best way to focus my energy to get the best return? But yeah, I was definitely initially like early on in life before I had any sort of financial education, it was a hyper focus on saving.
Uh-huh.
So where do you folks, what would be your number one advice, you think, to someone to maybe help with getting out of making bad financial decisions? Like I think for me, I really notice like who I'm surrounded with really helps, like who my peers are. And that's why like being around you folks or connecting with other people online, social media, I think really helps you see things differently and get out of a lot of these bad financial habits that you may have grown up with. But that would be where I would start.
Yeah. I feel like Keeping Up with the Joneses is a classic one where it's just like, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are buying toys and they have the latest and greatest, and you show up to their house and they have, all new clothes and they always want to go out, and, it's like, it's hard not to fall prey to those pressures. So I completely agree with you. I think the most important thing is getting around people who are also on the same track as you so that you can talk about things and relate with them, and they're not going to make you feel bad for not wanting to spend a bunch of money to, for a trip on the weekends or something that you don't really want to go on. So being around people and then seeing people that are maybe a little bit more successful than you, and they can kind of like advise you and help you. That's what I do with like social media. I'm always like trying to connect with people and learn their perspective and the way that they're seeing things and doing things, because it's the best way for me to grow and figure out what it is that I'm doing that I should change that could help me move further ahead.
So there was I needed a electronic part for this setup for my podcast. So I drive to Walmart and I'm hanging out, waiting for them to go find a part. And I'm talking to these two gentlemen, and they're probably 19 or 20. And, I'm a salesperson, right? So I'm just chopping up a conversation, having a good time. And, what are you guys doing? What are you guys checking out on YouTube? Who do you guys follow on Instagram, whatever? And 2 years ago, those sentences would have never come out of my mouth, because this has been a whole journey for me in the last 24 months. And these gentlemen, make an average hourly wage, probably less than $20 an hour. And, yeah, man, like I'm reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm watching YouTube. I'm building my YouTube channel on this and this. And like, I'm already got my cash flow up to $1,000 a month. I'm like, my jaw just like fell to the ground. These kids are 19 and 20 years old talking about stuff that I never even would have dreamed about, at that age. And that was probably in December. And I get a text message on a Tuesday. I'm sorry, in February on a Tuesday, late at night. Hey, I got this question. I saw one of your videos. Can you help me with this? It was like 10:30. And these guys are up late working on the YouTube channels. And it's like focusing on income, working on your income streams. And again, depending on where you are in your journey, like if you've got a family and kids, I mean, there's only so much time you have for that. But if you're earlier on in your journey and you see the value and the benefit of trying to be able to build something now when you do have more time and more time to work for you, and if you can build those skills and build some income streams now, then a lot of opportunities are going to come. But one of the things I talk about a lot is that when you are spending the time to be able to build something, like those guys late on a Tuesday, they could have been out at the bar, maybe not because they're 19, 20. Maybe they have a idea. I don't know.
At a house party.
Right. But instead they were focused on this thing over here generating value. And by doing that in the moment, their mind's thinking about that and not on spending money elsewhere. And that's the thing, that environment, getting around people that are already doing that, and then focusing on building something. Because when you're focusing on that, climbing a mountain, you're not looking behind you spending money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so cool. I love it when I see young people like 19, 20. Everyone always goes, man, if I had gotten started at 19, 20. It's really great to see people that are doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can attribute that, I would think, a lot to like the short form financial content that's out now, because you really can get turned on to something in like less than 30 seconds. And you're like, oh, like I actually can invest like $5 by doing this. And I mean, it was less than a year ago that I was Googling like how to open a brokerage account, like what is it? Like if I want to buy a stock, how do I do that? And like I didn't even know like that little bit. And so for people who are, under the age of 20 right now, they're able to consume so much of that educational content in a very short amount of time, just enough to know like how to get started. And I feel like that's really key. And that's, something that none of us had when we were 19 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of have like a rock star watching us. We got Lawrence Briggs who popped into the chat. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know who Lawrence is, but
yeah, I think I met him at FinCon.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, awesome guy. Hello from Texas, he said. Yeah. Oh, we got another firefighter in the chat. We got Brett. Gotta talk to him later because Millennial Mike's been he sent me this stupid police video.
I saw that on Instagram.
oh yeah, that's right. He did. I don't know what was going on with that. There's like no firefighters in sight. I don't know what the hell happened.
They were all inside in the fire.
Yeah, they're probably rescuing someone.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing the real work.
Yeah. No, well, he sent me the video because these police guys had to pick up the fire hose and started fighting the fire. And there was like no firefighters anywhere. I don't know what's going on. I said fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think when it comes to advice for some, I mean, I think everyone kind of hinted at it, but no one pointed it out specifically, that like the busier you are, the harder it is to make bad financial decisions. So, if you, and it's kind of that way with like, not eating well too. Like if you stay busy enough, like you don't have time to like snack on food and sit down and engorge yourself. And so, I feel like that has helped with financial habits too, is if I stay busy enough, like trying to earn money or trying to think about ways to like be productive financially, then I'd have a lot less time to blow my money and shop a lot and stuff like that. But I'm the same way as Lauren, where like my kid's birthday is coming up. And so like I start shopping around. I'm like, oh, I could get this gift or that gift. And I have a hard time like limiting myself to a budget there. And then I end up with like a lot of things in my cart. And I'm like, how is this, $300 worth of stuff? And then I'm like, and at the end of the day, like I could not get any of this and it probably wouldn't matter. And like I could use that $300 elsewhere. So it's definitely like I've gotten in the habit of like putting stuff in my cart and then like making myself wait 24 hours before I purchase it to make sure that I'm not just like emotionally buying stuff. But yeah, I think that the busier you are, the more that helps you out financially too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I completely agree. I feel like it's like you either have you have like the time where you're working and you're really busy, and if you're not busy, then you're just spending money. So you're making money or you're spending money.
Exactly.
So if you stay busy making money, then you're not spending it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know Lauren just came back from some kind of event also, right?
Yeah, I was at the ISS, which is I thought it was International Self Storage because it is an international conference, but it's inside self storage. It's like the biggest self storage conference in Las Vegas.
Did you ever get in touch with Kevin?
We did not. Well, we connected and we're going to
Okay.
do a phone call, but we didn't get to meet up. Unfortunately, there was a couple of people that I wanted to meet up with that I didn't get to.
Cool. Oh, he was there?
I think he said he was there for one day.
Oh,
I'll have to go back and look at my messages. I have like a bajillion texts. You know how conferences go. Like you meet a bunch of people and then you're like, okay, we'll connect after. And then I need to go through this weekend and like reach back out to people. But it was such a good conference. It brings me back around to like why I love in-person networking and meetups and conferences. And I am going to sell my equestrian properties and put the money into self-storage. And I have no experience in self-storage. I have, started analyzing the deals, but I'm basically starting back as like a beginner, and I'm reminded what it's like to be a beginner again, because I forgot that like you really start going like, okay, where do I start? Like, how do I do this? And even the process of finding the storage facilities is different than finding residential. Like commercial is on different platforms. My real estate agent that I trust and work with, she doesn't do commercial. So now I got to find a new real estate agent. So you're really starting over. I have no network. I have the people that are in my network currently don't do self-storage. So I went to the conference to kind of like build that network out, and it was incredibly fruitful. Like I met one couple who has one storage facility, and they've like talked about what it's like over the past couple of years building that up. And then I met other people who have been doing it for 4 years, and they have like $45 billion worth of self-storage. So every end of the spectrum. And then I met people that were in their like 70s, late 60s and 70s, who've been in storage since the early 90s. So I feel like I'm starting to build that network to begin this new journey. And I saw, Joel, that you did a YouTube video with somebody who does self-storage, and you guys were like analyzing.
Yeah, with Kevin.
Yeah.
Storage Venture, I think is on Twitter. But yeah, pull out the whiteboard, started writing numbers down on paper, and I was kind of mind blown just how the analysis worked out. And one of the things that stands out that I asked Kevin was, okay, so if you compare residential or multifamily, and the idea, okay, I'm going to buy a property and I'm going to buy it at this price and be able to improve it to make it more valuable in the future. And it seems like that's hard and harder to do as prices and rates have gone up. And I asked, how would you, because he's done both, right? How would you compare the ability to find arbitrage on residential or multifamily compared to self-storage? He said, yeah, there's definitely more opportunity in self-storage because there's just not as much information, not as much data, not as much visibility. So the ability to find better deals and add value is essentially more opportunity potentially. So I don't know much about it, but it was definitely eye-opening.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping I want to just like document the whole journey of it, because I think it's really great when you can see somebody like going into a new venture and and see that they really don't know anything. Because I think when you're afraid to start something, you're like, well, they probably knew somebody, or, you know, they knew something about it. And it's like, no, I really don't know anything about storage, except for you don't have tenants and you don't have toilets. And that I'm really excited about. Because while I was at the storage conference, I had, like, of course, a million things going wrong. I had one of my Airbnbers broke the glass, shattered the glass on a sliding glass door. So I had to, like, get somebody over that day to change out the sliding glass door and clean up all the shattered glass. And then I had a toilet backing up, and I had, you know, it was just like one of those moments where you're just like, okay, I'm definitely in the right place right now, because my Airbnbs are, like, going crazy when I leave for 4 days. And you don't deal with any of that with self-storage. So
It's nice when you have those moments where it's like you get the confirmation that what you're doing is the right move, because a lot of times it feels like you're like, oh, should I make this switch? Like you get really torn about it. And then when you have those moments, you're like, nope, I'm doing the right thing. Like that feels really good, because then you can like be really confident that you like the move that you're making.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I was like, I am so ready for storage so that I don't have to deal with these things. Of course, there's other issues, like always, but from what I've talked to, I met a woman who lives like 30 minutes away from me, and she has 2 facilities. And so we're going to do like weekly meetups in person. And she was talking to me, and she's like, basically the only thing that happens in storage is you get people that try to live in the unit. It's not that hard to kick them out. And especially if you catch it early. And then your gate breaks, like your front gate breaks all the time, which I know that because I have gates. I have a couple gated, the equestrian facilities are gated, and the gates do break a lot. So I'm like, if that's all I'm dealing with, you know, people living in the unit and gates breaking, I'm like, that is way easier than everything else that I've been doing. So I'm ready for it.
And you also won something, right? I saw you take home some winnings.
Oh yeah, I did win something. It was my first time ever gambling, and I played blackjack, and they had this game called like free bet blackjack. So it was like kind of a spin off on it. And we were sitting there at the table, and I don't know, maybe it was beginner's luck, but I was just like, I can't lose. I was just winning. I started with $150 or like $100 and walked away with $3,000.
Yeah,
But I didn't know when to quit. I was like, okay, I'm done. I gotta get it. I gotta get out of here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I gambled for the first time in Vegas too, and I walked away with $40. So I was pretty proud.
That's awesome. If you're not losing money, then it's a win.
When in the ORAD event?
Mm-hmm. The very last night before I left.
What were you playing?
The
slots?
No. What's the one with the wheel and the ball lands in it?
Yeah, roulette.
Yeah.
That one actually I feel like is so hard to win. So it's actually impressive that you won money doing that.
Yeah, I did pretty well with it. Yeah, roulette. Yeah, Steven and I were playing roulette that night, and it was pretty fun though. I think I got up to like $160 and then lost back down to 40, but walked away ahead. So
yeah, knew when to quit while you were ahead.
Yeah.
You're playing with Scott?
Yeah, he lost all of his money though. And then the guy across we had a good like circle of people at our little station that was playing. They were all entertaining. Everyone lost, I think, except for me. But I was on my way to losing, but pulled out a little soon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Don't gamble. It's not a good money habit, but it was really fun.
Hyder said, if I gamble, I have an escrow account in my pocket that winnings go into and don't come back out of.
Okay.
Yeah, I have heard that where like people pull out their winnings and then they keep, going with whatever their initial like money was that they were willing to lose. That's a good strategy.
Did you guys watch that video I sent you about the guy that didn't pay taxes or federal taxes?
I don't think you sent me that.
Oh, because that's Hyder's thing, right? That we don't have to pay taxes. So I
That's
send him
exactly
that
what
video.
yeah, that's exactly what I
Yeah,
thought when you sent it. It's like an IRS agent that didn't pay taxes. Is that right?
yeah,
That said it
yeah.
was
So he came
unconstitutional.
across. Yeah, I'll send it
What
to you after
happens?
long.
He goes to jail?
No,
No?
but no, I mean, he kind of breaks down like why we're not technically have to pay taxes. But yeah, but that's Hyder's thing. Hyder's been saying that for how long?
Yeah.
That's what he stands by.
Yeah, that's exactly who I thought of when I saw that.
But yeah. So how do you guys like the yard stream so far?
StreamYard.
Or stream yard? See, I don't even know.
I like
One
it.
of them.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it a lot, actually. It's great because I can see like people commenting and be in the chat without having to have it be separate.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm assuming that everyone is commenting from YouTube. Is that what I'm? Because I'm only seeing
Yeah.
like their comment has a YouTube. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
I hopped on Instagram and there was a comment on Instagram that's not showing up in the comments here. So
okay. And I'm not sure if so the Instagram's supposed to cut off at an hour, and I don't know if that means the whole thing shuts down or just the Instagram side shuts
Probably
down.
just
So
Instagram shuts
yeah.
down.
So just giving you guys a heads up that I don't know, but we'll still be going, I think. Yep. See, Hyder says, yep, taxes are optional.
Until that-
It's just
that's
a
not gonna
narrow.
Yeah. Oh, we have a good turnout. I mean, I'm showing 27 viewers on my side. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what I'm showing.
nice.
But yeah, what do you guys got planned for the weekend? What are you guys doing?
I'm working. This weekend. I'm showing my farms for sale. I haven't put them on the market yet, but I have a couple of people that are interested in buying them. So
Is
I'm
this
doing
kind of just a spur of the moment? I mean, like, are you even thinking about selling them for a while?
I mean, not that long. Just a few months. I've been really contemplating it. And then it just kind of happened where I was opening my mind to it. Cause I was like, I'm never going to sell these. They're in an economic opportunity zone. So if I hold them for 10 years, that's no capital gains tax, which is huge because the capital gains has been significant. I've done a lot of development on them. It was just raw land before. So I was thinking I would hold on to them, but the opportunity cost of my life, like these very productive next 5 years of my life spending managing them, because I haven't been able to really find somebody who can manage them. Like there's still these like area, like I have a farm manager, I have good handyman, I have all these people in place, and yet it still does take a lot of my energy and time. So the opportunity cost, I just kind of decided in these past few months that I want these next 5 years of my life to be focused on building something that's more hands off. And so then 2 people reached out and said they were interested in buying. So I have 2 interested parties. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Where would you be looking to purchase self-storage? In Florida or a different state?
I mean, I would love for it to be in Florida, Central Florida, just because I really believe in this area. It's growing so much. There's a lot of opportunity as far as like people moving, because from what I've heard, storage directly correlates with people moving in and out of their houses. Like you can look at like the prosperity, the occupancy of storage. But I'm open to wherever, to be honest. I'd buy in the Midwest. I would buy in the South, like Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, Kansas, really wherever. I don't need to be living in the location.
I feel
Just
like
not
I feel like I drive past storage units all the time that have for sale signs. You want me to start sending you their
Yeah.
the information?
Yes.
With the amount of driving I've done, I feel like I've seen a lot. And they're always in like really random places, but I hear sometimes that is the way to go.
So
Yeah,
do you
I mean,
randomly drive with Hive Mapper, you think? Or you're
Do I randomly drive?
yeah, like do you just sometimes I'm gonna go drive to turn on Hive Mapper?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. um, I might intentionally like take like reroute myself to like a route that hasn't been driven and like add a few miles that way, but I don't ever just go drive just for the sake of it. No.
how is that going?
Pretty good. So like on the trip recently that I did to Oklahoma, um, made about 135 one way, and I'm still getting the payouts for the way back. That's been the only downside, is that the Solana network has been congested, so every time they send out payouts, they come in like really slow, and they're like trickling in over like a few days rather than like all hitting on Thursday morning like they're supposed to. But I'm not like depending on that income, so it's not a huge deal to, it feels like every day's payday right now because they like pay a little bit, or a little bit is hitting every day. But yeah, it's more than covered the cost of gas for my drives. So that's been really nice. I mean, now I drive a hybrid, like fuel efficient car, so I'm getting like 32, I think, miles to the gallon. So, but yeah, it's covering the cost of gas. So like, I feel like every time I go on a road trip, like it doesn't cost me anything anymore. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome. What are you guys doing this weekend?
I'm still recovering. Had a
Drinking
long day.
Gatorade and
Yeah. Joel, you weren't on yet, but had a rough day the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear about it. Go into full detail. Let's go. No. This weekend, so I got a lot going on. I am in the middle of transitioning from so I'm building a commercial building that's supposed to close today, but it's closing on Monday. Just allocating some assets and moving stuff and taking the kids out to a couple parks and getting them out. So that's gonna be my weekend.
Nice.
yeah, the weather's gonna be nice. So probably get the chickens out and put them out in the yard again.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Watch out, that chicken's gonna run after you like that video.
That's a rooster.
Or
I'm pretty sure.
same thing. Chicken rooster.
I mean, I think they're meaner than chickens, but yeah, I don't think I've held these chickens enough to make them friendly yet. They don't like being separated, but I can't carry all three of them at one time. So I usually carry two outside, and then the other one is like freaking out that it is not with its other chicken friends. So,
Are they babies?
yeah.
Yeah, you got to hold them a lot. My mom hatched little chickens and she held them all the time, even though they kind of like wanted to run away. She was just like force them, and now they sit on her lap like they're pets.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's
Yeah,
really
they seem like they want to run away. But we built the run thing for them so we can have them outside now, and the weather's finally gonna be nice enough to like put them out a little bit more. But then I still got to build the coop part to go on top of it. So I'm finding a way to spend all the money that I'm making in side hustles on, having chickens. I'm like, it's way cheaper to just buy eggs. I don't understand this whole living off the land stuff. Way more expensive than just paying the inflated grocery prices.
Yeah.
So janitor on fire. Well, first he said gambling sucks. It destroyed his dad. So be careful. And I said,
Oh,
sorry. Yeah. I see a lot of people go down that road. Just like alcohol, man. I'm done drinking, man. No more. I'm done.
Hyder asked if the chickens poop on my mom's lap. That's actually a really good question. I don't think so, but I'm gonna ask her.
That's funny.
And then he also, Janitor on Fire also said, ask Peter Schiff about not paying taxes. His dad died in prison for not paying his. Yeah, I don't know how people get away with it, but I guess some people figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hyder is unique. I love his comments all the time.
Well, that's because no one's coming all the way up there in Alaska to get him if he doesn't pay his taxes.
Yeah, he has hideouts.
He He's one long boat ride from Russia, so you can't get him.
I'm sure he's got his passport. He's ready to go.
So how's the your lives coming, Joel?
I mean, I'm gonna need your help to figure out how to. Actually, I know what I did wrong this last time on the beginning to connect it without the echo. But no, it's good to do it. I was asking Sierra and Paul some pretty personal questions on live, talking about their real estate kind of visions and plan and next steps. And so I'm thankful that they were comfortable sharing a little bit. But no, it's a lot of fun, and just gonna keep on doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just getting it set up is sometimes a little tricky, but yeah, even the other week I had an issue, right? So
Yeah.
it's fun though. I have more fun during the live.
Yeah.
Joel was very he was very structured. He was taking notes and had the whole thing going.
Yeah. I need to do less of that though. Like that's how my mind works. Like I like to be able to see it on writing, and that way if somebody clips in on a part of it, they can see kind of what we're talking about. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I saw part of that. There was like some chicken scratch writing.
It
Like, what was that all about?
was Hive Mapper. I wrote it out.
It is kind of nice though, because then if someone tunes into the live and they can like get up to speed, you know, if they join right then, like they have a little bit of context for what we're talking about. So it's probably a good idea.
Well,
So
if you
this is
guys want that, you guys got to do that.
So question for you guys. So we're talking about, habits and financial literacy and this and that and saving money and then investing. If every single person, well, let's just say, so 56% of Americans don't have $1,000 saved. Like that's the data from Bankrate from beginning of last year. If every single, let's just say half of the people in that situation were able to build an income stream of $1,000 a month, where would this country be?
If they built an income stream of $1,000 a month.
So your current situation, and you add an extra $1,000 to their situation,
would probably be in the same exact situation. They would spend it.
Come on, glass half empty.
I mean, just based on the data, like they probably spent it. They'd increase their income, their expenses with their income. That's why
would for sure. I think, but other side of that coin too, like we were talking about before, people are then spending extra because I'm assuming that people have a full-time job, and then you spend extra time for this extra thing to make an extra income stream. The extra time by default means you have less time to spend money, less time to put in stuff on Amazon. Mm-hmm. So that's like the kind of mantra from where I'm trying to go with my channel in the long term.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything comes down to like financial education. Like you can give them an extra $1,000 a month and it won't change their life. But if you teach them, to be financially responsible and develop good habits, then it doesn't matter, if they're making $1,000 a month or $500 a month or $100 a month. If they have good habits, they'll learn how to take that and make it more. So yeah, it comes down to education, I feel like. But like financial education, not like traditional school education.
Well, and that explanation, you said give somebody $1,000. Do you mean actually give, like the scenario of giving somebody $1,000, or like working to build that $1,000 stream or side hustle?
I almost think either or. Like if somebody, because I know a lot of people who work very hard, and like my mom being one of them, she worked really hard her whole life, and as she made more money, she didn't have better spending habits. She just increased her lifestyle and never started investing. So I think you can, even if you're working hard and you have that side hustle and you're making an extra $1,000 a month, if you're not educating yourself on how to invest that money and have it start working for you, you can, work as hard as you want and not really ever be building that foundation.
100% agree.
All right, so we're coming up on an hour. So if someone can let me know if we get bounced off of Instagram, but Chester is saying that only Lauren and Sierra are checking the Instagram side.
This is true.
You can only
Well,
do
there's not a
so
lot
much at
going
one
on over
time.
there.
Yeah. Joe, I don't know what Joe's doing. Not helping out the team here.
What am I supposed to do?
Are you on
Dang.
X at least? Are you on X at least checking out what's going on that side?
Oh, I'm on YouTube.
Oh man.
Where all the comments are. I'm trying to think if, if that many people had $1,000 extra a month. I mean, I think about, the stimulus checks that came out, and at first it did seem like, at least in that scenario, like a lot of people addressed their debt with it, or some put it in savings, and it wasn't until things started to stabilize a little bit that became like spending money for a lot of people. So it kind of depends. I mean, I know that I use that money to start my business with Sun Peak Merch. And so I think people will handle, money differently. I think there's probably a lot of people that $1,000 would be life-changing if they could just get the lump sum of it, honestly, rather than it like trickle in. If they had one lump sum to address like, a medical bill that's haunting them, or, they had to put tires on their car and they can't get ahead again. Like there's probably a lot of things that I mean, I want to give people the benefit of the doubt and say that like everyone's trying to do their best, and they're going to, ultimately use, an extra income stream to try to get ahead if they can. But there's obviously people with really bad habits that, it's going to be too tempting to buy that one big ticket item that they feel like they can never buy because they suddenly have this amount of money that they've never had before. But I was thinking, like, if you gave people $1,000, but you said like you can only spend it in the stock market, and for a lot of people who don't even have $1,000 saved, they probably don't own any stocks, right? And so if they have this $1,000 and they're just trying to figure out stocks with it, like that would be a great, learning experience for them, and to see how money makes money, and to see what trading looks like, or holding long term, or what ETFs do. Like, I think that you could almost use, like if you had one stipulation around it having to be invested, then I think that would do a lot for people.
Yeah. I love how you lead with like empathy, and you're always like, you always come with the perspective of like everybody is trying their best, because I totally agree. And also at the same time, I'm like, there's like self-responsibility, but I love that you lead with like that empathy, and that like people are listening. They're like, yeah, I am trying my best, and $1,000 would change my life. Because some people are in those situations where it's just like they keep getting knocked back down, and they are working really hard and they're trying their best, and they're just in a really tough situation, and it would be life-changing for them, and they would take the opportunity and totally capitalize on it.
Hey, Lauren, when did you first get into real estate?
Well, I first got into real estate investing in 2020. Yeah, like late 2020.
Okay.
But I had bought one like single family home before that, but that was just like a primary residence.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like what Landlord Odyssey says. He says what changed for him was learning the difference between cheap and frugal. We want to be frugal, not cheap. Cheap things are actually more expensive than expensive things.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
What's the difference, Landlord Odyssey? What's an example?
I think it's, like if you buy something that's cheap, like let's say you go out and buy, I'm thinking about like cookware, right? Like if you go out and buy a skillet that's $10, you're probably gonna have to replace that skillet 3 or 4 times, versus being frugal, which is like, I'm going to buy one quality item and not have 5 skillets, but like I'm not gonna have to replace this one for 10 years. I think that's kind of the difference.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hyder saying cheap denotes quality, while inexpensive denotes price.
All right. So I don't know. People in the comments can maybe. So what is this again? Yard stream?
Shoes.
StreamYard.
Don't last
Stream.
time. Yep.
So
Yeah.
we can choose 3 platforms to stream on. So I chose X, YouTube, and Instagram this time. But if there's any platform that someone else thinks might be a better option, put it in the comment section and we can try to do that for the next one. But yeah. Shoes. Tiffany says shoes. Cheap don't last sometimes. Okay.
Hey,
Chief
Mark.
vacuums. Yes.
So
Yeah.
Sierra and Paul and I were talking about side hustles on the live yesterday. So your property management side of things, how's
Mhm.
that going in terms of like generating revenue? Like what percentage of your overall income is coming from that?
Man, you're getting all technical and stuff. I mean, it varies because there's like 7 Airbnbs. So I mean, I probably about 2 grand a month, I would say. But that's split because I have a partner.
Look at you giving real data. I was trying to be cryptic, and you giving real data.
Oh, well, I mean, it fluctuates, but I mean, I could probably do it by myself. Like, I don't really need my partner. It just helps when we have like things that come up. So we probably split about 4 to 5 grand a month. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
What Airbnbs? I mean, even though it's really the prices are down, the rates are down, it's still, I would say, over 90% occupied. It's just your rates gotta be.
Did you post something about Hawaii might be banning Airbnb altogether?
Yes.
Oh, I
Did you
saw
not share my tweet?
No, I did not.
No, no, yeah, I post because they're always trying to ban it, and a lot of it is just it comes down to inventory, right? And but the thing is, a lot of those legal ones are they're not really residential units anyways. I mean they're in Waikiki area, so a lot of the legal ones, the nightly Airbnbs, they wouldn't really help housing inventory very much. It's just I think they're trying to ban it more from they know people are doing illegal activity, which will probably still happen anyways somehow. But people are still renting out their houses and willing to pay the fine if they do get in trouble, right? Because I mean, I don't know what the fine is now, but I know it was like $10,000 at one point. But some people are like, if they bust me, I'll pay the fine because I'm making so much X money, right? So
I think they're trying to make the fines a little heftier too. Because I had a friend who was doing exactly that. They were just like, whatever, I'm making so much money,
yeah.
I'll pay the fine. And then she had been kind of busted before, like a few years ago. And then she recently got busted again, and she made the fine a lot more than it was the first time. And she was like, okay, that actually hurts a little bit. I might reconsider now.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject, right? I mean, it's no, I think there's no, I think the best case scenario would be because some people are doing it to help pay for their living, they're paying their mortgage or they're using it for extra income. So I think the only way they can really make it successful is like if someone has an extra room or extra unit, but they have to also live on the property. And that's the tricky part too, right? Because, there's a lot of people that say they live there and they're not really living there. But I think that would be the ultimate solution to everything.
Maui's pretty strict. I mean, they like fly drones. They find out. Like, I don't know of anyone of like my friends who were doing Airbnb without the permit. All of them got caught. Like, they go on and look at like listings in Maui. Like, they're really on it. So it's kind of hard to get away with. Like,
So that's what people, I don't know how it is now, but a lot of people used to like take their listing off during the week because they figure that's when the city work or the workers are working.
Oh my gosh.
And then they would post it on the weekend. But I don't know if that's still a thing, but I know people that were doing that before because they figure, the city employee or they're working Monday through Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. I also feel like, I don't know if people use like VRBO on Maui because everybody I talked to always did Airbnb, but I feel like it was always like through Airbnb that they got caught. Like the city officials weren't really looking at VRBO.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I don't know.
but it's still doing well. Yeah, like I said, the rates are down, but because I think that a lot of the hotels are kind of going that route also, right? So they've renovated floors to be like short-term rentals. So you get the full kitchen and the kind of the same benefits of getting an Airbnb. So there's a lot of apartment or condo units that are doing that. So it kind of brought the rates down. So occupancy is still fine, but the rates are a lot lower. And I think a lot of owners are actually trying to maybe get out now while they're, they don't want to be holding the bag. Plus, insurance is becoming an issue for a lot of these buildings and coverage. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see any comments going on. Oh, good example with the cookware, Sierra from Chester. What else we got? Yeah. Working the system. Baby Dion said that.
Baby Dion.
You met Jason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On that one.
Oh yeah.
That one night, yeah.
Oh, you know what? I gotta get you in contact. Somebody reached out to me on Facebook. He's a firefighter in St. Louis, and I told him to reach out to you.
Yeah. Do you remember his name?
Travis something. Starts with a P. His last name. I don't want to say it but something.
Yeah.
Travis P.
Yeah.
But I told him to reach out to you.
Do you have your guide, your platform all ready to go? You working on that?
Huh?
We're gonna get you traveling, going to firehouses and across the country, and having you do presentations of how firefighters can start to work towards financial freedom, build their side hustle on their 4 days off a week.
Listen, Joel, don't get him busy. He's the closest one to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we need him to focus.
I mean, but what if he's traveling? What if we get him traveling and he's meeting all kinds of firefighters across the country? He'll be at 100,000 next week.
I'll be honest, when I was in the airport this last time, I was like, I'm going to start just asking people to subscribe to Mark's channel as I walk around the airport and just see if I can.
You should wrap your car.
Yeah. The car decal, like I said, it hasn't got, much traction as far as my social media followers. I did get a couple, and I had someone message me saying that they, saw it and, followed me because of it. But really the one thing that was wild was when I was at the gas station on my way back from Oklahoma, a lady came up and was like, "What is this, Homes and Hustles?" And I kind of told her, and she was like, "Well, I've been looking for someone in real estate who does what it sounded like was she was interested in doing private lending." She was like, they buy the house, and then if they fall through, you can, foreclose on it. She was like, it seems like a no-brainer. And so I referred her to Paul because he's the only one I know that does the private lending world or puts together deals for that. So I'm like, okay, I guess having a decal on my car works. If I did private lending, I would have had a great lead from that. Or if I was a real estate agent, maybe. But as far as growing social media, I don't know that's super helpful.
Telling you, slap my ass would have done better.
I should have put slap my ad on there.
I thought you did.
I didn't. No, well, I put that on my social media stuff, but I didn't put slap my ad on the car.
Oh, I thought you put it on your car.
I really want to take off the decal and get window chalk and just put just married in my Venmo and see if I can get people that just Venmo me money or turning 21, and because I saw someone post about that on Instagram, and they literally do this. They write this on their vehicles, their Venmo or Cash App, and they either put just married or turning 21 or something like that. And then they go drive around or park their car in at the pool house of nice neighborhoods. And they are making tons of money doing that. So that's a side hustle if anyone is interested.
You should test it. See how much you've made from the decals and driving and all these other side hustles, and then just write that on the window and see if that is
right. And that's the thing is being so close to Nashville, I feel like I could go park my car downtown Nashville because that's a huge scene for bridal parties and people turning 21. I'm I think that I could probably make a decent amount of money just parking my car down there.
So if you want a side hustle, maybe we can maybe write you some IOUs. So this is what I need you to do: go park in downtown Nashville, and then interview people who want to talk about their own side hustle, and then we can start collecting the 100 stories for my channel on my mini series of 100 stories of increasing income and side hustles, and then I'll just write you some IOUs.
IOUs, okay.
Lauren's gonna have the turtle side hustle, turtle removal or tortoise removal.
Yeah, that's already one of my side hustles.
Hey, Joe, right there.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Would you want to share that on my podcast?
Sure.
Although I don't know, like, if someone says, "Hey, I want to go get this course, take this education, and then go do that," like how, like, can you?
Yeah, they could do it. Yeah, you can do it you could do it in Florida, Alabama, I think maybe even Georgia. They have these tortoises, and the course is like, depending on what level of certification you want, it's between like $1,500 to $2,500 to get the certification, and you can make like $1,000 on each removal.
How many do you think you could do in a year?
Oh,
5, 10, 1,000?
Oh, no, way more than that. You could probably do like 5 a month. Yeah. They need, especially if you get connected with a big developer, because they have to remove all of these tortoises. You have to like identify where the burrows are. You have to walk the entire property and find all of the burrows and mark it with like a GPS map. And then you have to remove them and then relocate them, and you have to tag them. Like you actually drill into their shell and mark them. And so, yeah, you could do, depending on how, like if you get one of those developers that's doing like housing developments, I mean, you could make that, you make even more money because they'll just pay you like a flat rate to do their, whatever, this section of land, and it's not cheap.
Hey, Mark, do you think if she hired a videographer, she could build her own YouTube channel of that?
Probably, but I'm trying to get her to jump on X first. I'm trying to get more people on X. We need more soldiers on X. Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle another platform.
You'll get,
When do you
I
spend the
think
most
you'll
time?
enjoy X.
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instagram, just I've lost so much interest in it because it seems like I can't monetize it in any way. So I'm just like, I get so much more exposure on X and YouTube than I do. Like nothing on Instagram performs well as far as reach goes. But I do like my niche group of like community there. But yeah, it just feels like there's no way to get money out of it.
Yeah.
What's your story to reel ratio?
Are you asking me?
Either one of you.
Sarah.
I mean, I've pretty well dropped off of there. I don't know what my story to reel ratio was.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, I mean, Meta, they're pushing stories. You're gonna get the best reach on your stories and on your reels, unless you have a really big account. So their algorithm is pushing stories. So
I don't know. But people in the comments, join X. We need more people over there. Yeah. Zuber's on there, so people jump in, Zuber.
Yeah, that I've honestly, the only reason I've kept my Instagram is because Zuber only messages me on Instagram, and so I'm like, I don't know if he'll find me elsewhere. But yeah, I'm mostly keeping it for the DMs.
Oh, Chester's on X. Are you on your wealth building journey, Chester? I'll look you up. Let's see. Let's see.
It looks like we have 20 people listening in on X.
I can't tell. Like just on, does your guys' screen show the total viewers?
Mine just says plus 20.
Okay, I see a total of 34 on my screen. I don't know if that's from all platforms or 36 now.
Oh no, I don't see that on StreamYard, but on X I do see, like when I click on us, it said 20 It has 26
Oh,
now.
cool.
So
Oh, baby Dion has X. All right, I'm rounding all these guys up. Charismatic Rob is Chester. Okay.
my post on X is up to 115,000 impressions. So if that one could just get me, I'll just ride that wave all the way to 5 million. That'd be great, and then I could get monetized.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are getting me interested in X. I feel like if you're getting that much engagement, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Okay, I'll get on a new platform.
I enjoy X the most, actually. You actually get the most engagement, I think.
Yeah, people still like interact on there without it being too crazy. Although I will say I have a lot of rough comments on that last post, but I'm not going to dig
I
too
didn't
deep
even
into
really.
it.
I didn't read the post.
Well, that means you made it. That's
right?
what that
Yeah,
means.
yeah, exactly. I'll be right back while I go develop thicker skin, though.
Oh, yeah, I have no problem with that. Joe, did you see her post?
No. Oh, 115,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why were we not talking about that in our text thread, bros?
I sent
Well,
it
we
to our
talked
text
about
thread,
yeah,
bro.
and we talked about it. Oh, you weren't on yet. Well, no, we were.
Yeah, we did. That's the first thing, like early on, that we talked about, Joel.
Yeah.
In our text thread, did you link the post?
I sent a screenshot.
Joel, what's your strive for 25? What is that? What do you 25? What are you striving for?
So saving 25% of your income. If you can do that, then you have options to invest.
Oh,
That's the premise.
Joel, did you start? You started a brand new YouTube channel, is that right?
Yeah, dude, it's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 18 subscribers. I've got like 2 hours of watch time in like a week. And
that's
the
awesome.
realtors in Florida, they love it. The people that I'm reaching out to, they love it. So it's about condos and the Panhandle. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of uneducation of the do's, the don'ts, the things to be aware of. Because those properties you can't get regular financing on because they're not approvable condos. So yeah, more.
Interesting.
Are you in the Panhandle, Joel? Do you live there?
No, I live in St. Louis, but I've got some property down there and do business down there for mortgage stuff.
What is Jason under?
Do you do commercial lending by chance?
Yeah, I was going to ask you too, because like I've got a couple contacts that do horse farms, and one that can do it with seller financing, like a seller carry, like put 30% down, have a loan, and then if the seller and the buyer agree to a seller carry 10, 20%, then you can have a buyer get in with less money out of pocket if the seller is okay with carrying something to make a deal more attractive. So speaking of Paul, I know Paul's last deal was a seller financing type of thing, and the actual contract stuff of it, that's the part that's a little tricky.
Yeah, I have a 2.7% interest rate on one of my farms. Yeah, I know.
Is it above or below 10 acres?
It's 20 acres.
Holy shit. And you're selling that?
I know. It's crazy.
I got buyers. I know a couple buyers.
Yeah. So I was thinking like it's doing seller financing feels like a no-brainer, but I have to figure out, I've never done seller financing before, and I would have to figure out how to not trigger my due on sale clause for my mortgage. So, and I know that there's a way to do it because people do it and they have mortgages. And I also know that like the bank, when I talked to them, they were just like, it's a community bank here. And I do all my banking with them. And they were just like, if we don't know, we won't worry about it, kind of was their attitude, and which is unusual for bankers to tell you, but They obviously don't want to necessarily lose the loan either. But, I also don't want to find myself in a weird position where it comes like due on sale and they can't afford to, and it gets weird.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're kind of getting into, I don't want to say Wild West, but just way more creative brain power going into those kinds of deals because of rates being so high. So I'm seeing more people, really explore that than ever before. On the seller side, the last 3 or 4 years, for most people, it's a foreign object that they don't want to really even entertain, but it's becoming more of a thing now.
Well, you can make almost as much, if I charged like a 4% interest rate, that's still a really good interest rate, or even like 4.5% interest rate to somebody. I could be making a lot of money just on the interest.
Yeah.
So it seems like a no-brainer. It's just foreign to me. I haven't done it before, but if I can if anybody out there is listening and they know how, if somebody who does contracts or whatever, they know how, they want to teach me, that would be great. I'm sure I might run into it too, like buying storage. People do a lot of seller financing and storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Kevin sounds like he does a lot of seller
Yeah,
financing.
I asked him, have you done a traditional financing on a deal? Like, because I was trying to get it to the point to be able to put down numbers for, is it a 20-year amortization? Is it 30 years? Is it a 5-year balloon? Like, what's the actual financing look like for traditional storage? And all those deals have been seller financing. So it's like, I don't even know. I'm like, okay, well, I'm curious now. So let me find out. So I'm actually trying to figure it out for myself. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm. There was at the conference, there was like a really good loan officer there that did a talk, and she talked about the difference between an SBA loan and conventional financing for storage. And I'm pretty sure she said it was amortized over 25 years.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Just.
Do you happen to have that person's information?
I do.
Loan? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So Sierra, you commented on X, looks like.
Mm-hmm. I went
there
and
was there other comments there or no?
No, it says there's like 34 people in the space, but yeah, I was going to see if it popped up on here, and it does, so that's nice.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't think there's been any other comments.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, this is definitely makes it very easy.
Yeah.
So I didn't even realize you could do this on X. So someone doing what's it called, a space versus a live stream, obviously different. On a live, can you bring people in, like on a space? You can bring somebody in to be speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that on this platform?
What do you mean?
Well, like here we are,
like a viewer
in to do it. Yeah, can you bring a viewer in to be able to come up to be able to speak?
No.
Okay, now you're asking me some hard questions, man. I'm just glad I got it working the first time.
No, I'm like in the space and I can't like request to speak or anything. So I don't think that you can do that when you're streaming like this.
I don't really want to touch
good
anything.
Because Mark would kick me out in a heartbeat. So that's good.
But I do still want to do a spaces. So whenever you two are ready.
I'm down.
What is space? What is the space?
So that's on X. Yeah, so it's like a live. So you can, most people do spaces, but they don't, it's just audio. So I think it's a lot easier too sometimes because, you don't have to be set up somewhere. You can be driving and it was pretty fun. Me and Sierra was goofing around with it the other day, and you can put like all the sound, like a soundboard. I was having too much fun with it.
Like old time radio where you're just like making the weird noises, like
yeah, it is very much like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So we got to get you on there, Lauren.
All right, you guys convinced me. I'm on there today. I'm signing up.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, not like from a standpoint of finance or real estate or the different kind of retweets or whatever different groups are out there. I feel like the ability to stand out is going to be a little bit easier if you're on the female side of the chart. So
lies.
I agree.
115,000 on your Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been at it for over a month. So
Just a
Oh,
month.
it's not that
That's
long.
30 days of 1,074 hours. Oh my goodness. I'm just
I agree, Joel.
whatever. I have whatever. Whatever. It is not just be a girl and go viral, trust me.
Well, it's a lot easier.
yeah, I didn't
They're
say
like,
that at
just
all.
sit and look
I'm
pretty.
sure I could dress differently and have a slightly more success. That's accurate. But
Overalls, I keep saying overalls.
whatever. That's
You can change your name to Homes and Hussies.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is why it's good that Lauren's here, because you guys could not have said that and got away with it. But it's very funny when she says it.
Wow. But I agree with Joel.
Did you guys see Hugo putting out some or retweeting some NFTs dealing with snack?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
I'm going somewhere with this. We need to get an NFT made with Homes and Hussies and some overalls.
Did he ever get you on yet, Sierra?
Mm-mm.
I thought, yeah. So, me and him are setting up something. I forget the guy's name, Kyle, but the guy Kyle posted about the important. No, I don't know if there's an importance, but how he, believes in having children at a younger age. When you have more energy and you can do more. And then how Hugo is more about building the nest first, right? So I was like, oh, Hugo has a, so I'm gonna have them both on and kind of discuss
Debate.
their. I don't know if it's a debate, but kind of just their viewpoints on it. I don't know how I got dragged into it, but I'm fine. That's fine.
You can moderate the discussion.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, I can see both sides of that, for sure. And I think Hugo his life experience plays a lot into his stance on that, which makes a lot of sense.
Did he have kids young or older? Or does he have kids?
He doesn't have kids. I think his parents had him and were not at all in like a stable living situation. Is I think the way he tells that story.
Kind of like living in a garage kind of thing, and he kind of looks at it like, like what the fuck were you doing, bringing me into this world, when in this situation. So that's his viewpoint. It's kind of like building the nest first to provide, this foundation for your children. So
yeah,
I mean,
but yeah,
that's such a tough conversation because when are you ever gonna feel comfortable taking that it's like it's a slippery slope where you start to rationalize it. I'm never gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I think living in a garage is a good point for being not yet, I mean, but you're right. I do think it's on a spectrum of it's hard to be prepared enough.
Yeah. It's such a personal decision. I don't think there's one blanket answer where you can say oh, you should have kids young or you should wait until you have the nest. It's so different for every person.
Yeah. So we'll get Lauren on X. We'll help her join the Guardians of the Galaxy or Guardians of Fi. Oh, I don't know if Joe was on. Did you hear Zuber asked to be on my channel?
No.
But yeah, so I got to set that up.
Oh yeah, dude. That's badass.
Wait, who is Zuber?
From One Rental at a Time, Michael Zuber.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he reached out and said, "Hey, let's get this scheduled set up." So
nice.
I was like, "Yeah,
that's exciting."
Yeah.
I don't think I told you, Mark. So when I was doing that presentation in Maryland on personal branding, I actually had a slide on Zuber.
Oh, would have been nice if you went to his event.
Yeah. Why didn't you make a slide about us?
I mean, you guys don't have 50,000 subscribers.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's true.
No. Yeah.
It's if we're doing this,
but
right?
You don't either.
But I didn't have a slide about myself. I had a slide about this.
Yeah, but you're there talking about it.
Isn't
Well,
that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
Right? Yeah.
I just really like his approach to everything, and I think that's what I want to talk to him more about. You know, not because I think everyone knows his real estate story and journey. It's kind of more his passion on why. You know, it's like he really wants to help everyone. You know, and he's just doing it to motivate people, and you know, just his whole approach to it, right? Like he's not trying to clickbait, and he's not trying to, you know, edit all his videos, and he's just talking to people he likes talking to, and he's just putting it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. If you do it long enough, sooner or later things will happen. You're gonna want to get better at doing it because he doesn't edit in his videos, like, right? So it's just like just
No.
throw it out there. It is what it is. And some people don't want to do that. They want to do more than that, which is fine. But just doing it and not stopping. That was part of the messages that I was presenting, is that people want to get in their own way from just doing it, overthinking things. Just do it. Do it every single day until you hit the next level.
Yes, we're gonna get Lauren on X. Lauren's YouTube channel started, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. My first series will be buying self-storage as a beginner.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can look back in a couple of years and be like, look how far I've come.
Hyder said having kids is a jump out of the plane and build a parachute on the way down kind of venture. Yeah. Pretty accurate. Yeah. See? And he said overalls. He's gonna make only overalls instead of OnlyFans.
That's funny.
The overall thing. I'm gonna be back to getting targeted ads on overalls after this. I just got rid of them.
You probably get a whole bunch of cat stuff, huh?
Yes, my feed is full of cat stuff now from all the videos that you send me. And then I'm getting all the ads for overalls. So, and I already own overalls, so I don't need any more.
Do you have any pets, Lauren?
No, I had a
Oh.
dog for like 15 years, and then she just passed away a couple months ago.
Oh, that's
So-
so sad.
I know, it was so sad. She was with me like my whole adult life. But I'm like taking a break from having animals now.
Okay, Joel, you're gonna get us.
You couldn't say it out loud. You just had to type it in the chat.
Do you see it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I see it.
Okay. I mean, if you put that out there, I mean, it probably wouldn't get taken down.
You guys.
You open the door with the hussies, Lauren. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't rhyme though.
Oh, I
No.
couldn't type
He
it.
did, yeah, he,
Oh, I see.
he had to misspell it on purpose. It's a alliteration or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is getting out of hand already. Are we still on Instagram though? I'm trying to. So do you guys know?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we are. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I guess
I mean, it looks like it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I like this. I guess I'll keep using it. I just signed up for 1 month to give it a test go and see how
Let
it
me
is.
try.
But,
Exiting and going back up.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll do this again maybe next week and see who can make it. Or I know there's some other people that want to jump on when we can too. So might try to rotate people in and out. But yeah.
You're saying
Always
you're going to
fun.
rotate us in and out?
Well, I mean, Joe is the one I'm going to rotate.
Lauren's taking it far today.
Joe's on the last. He's on the rotation.
I'm the
squad.
sixth man. I'm the Lou Williams of the team.
Hey, I gotta bring in, fresh blood every time once in a while. People want a different perspective.
So important.
Yeah.
Well,
But
if Mark
I'm
just
glad
winks at enough people.
Hey, it hasn't. I think I offended someone too, man.
Did you really?
I don't know. I talked to her, and then she made a post about something, and I commented on it, and she's like, "That's illegal, though." Oh, I guess you're not coming on the channel anymore. I was like, well, it's gray area, but yeah.
Yeah, Sierra and I need our YouTube channel because you guys are going to offend so many people. People will stop showing up.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
So we can, come on your channel down the road when, yeah.
That's right. I don't think Lauren and I are going to get canceled.
Mm-mm.
I'm drying.
Don't bring me on.
Oh, I think he meant to put driving. No.
Yeah.
Shells and swells. Like when a horse gets excited.
I have never heard of that. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know if I want to know what that means.
I'll have to Google it later.
Don't Google it.
I don't know, but we're up to 50 viewers, I'm showing, so something's working right now.
Oh, man. I hope my parents aren't watching.
Well, yeah.
That's
I don't know. I want to know. I do want to know, though, if there's why your dad sent you that Venmo, if there's some sort of connection to that.
Yeah, I'll have to clear that up.
It's
not abnormal, but it was just, I'm like, the only thing I can think of is that my little brother screenshot it and sent it over because is he on X? He would do that. Yeah, he's on X.
Oh.
Yeah, and I sent him Kevin's way because
that's right.
Because my little brother does like storage unit deal analysis, like for a job for people remotely. So I was like, oh well, I think like he does a lot of stuff in Kentucky, and I think that but I think Kevin has that same, like, hires someone to do that overseas, like a VA to do it. But my little brother, obviously is not overseas. So I was trying to get him in with the storage unit community because I know he's already looking at tons of storage deals anyways. So I'm like, you might as well piggyback off that. Lauren, if you decide you want, although if he tattled on me, I'm not really going to give him that lead. So we'll see how that plays out.
Tell him his future depends on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, did you or did you not screenshot that?
All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll figure out when we can hop on next week, maybe, and yeah, we'll get Lauren started on X. And so, do you guys think she should sign up for the premium, or what is it called?
Yeah, just go for it. It's like $8 if you do it on your desktop to get the blue check mark. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, you get more attention. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely do it.
Yeah, so it gives you a blue check mark, and then and yeah.
I need a full rebrand. I need someone to rebrand me. You guys know of a good branding person?
Sierra,
yours is on point. You've got like your whole setup, like your podcast, like the sign, everything. You're like branded.
Thank you. And I have rebranded a couple times, but I feel like I'm finally in my groove now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you need any graphic design stuff, like, I'm happy to help with that. Just, you gotta come at me with your own idea. I'm not good at like branding for other people, but it's funny because it's the same way with apparel, right? Like, people will be like, oh, I want to do this, and then sometimes they like want you to take all the creative liberty, and then sometimes they're like want you to execute exactly like what they have in their mind, and it's a very fine line to walk sometimes with people on that kind of stuff. So
I need all the ideas. Honestly, I have no good branding ideas. I'm like not.
Yeah, don't listen to Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get on a Zoom call and just like brainstorm.
That might be a good thing for my new YouTube channel. Our first YouTube live
exactly
is doing like a branding call.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh,
Sorry,
But
guys.
y'all,
You
she's
guys can leave
scared.
the comments.
We can't have you guys on because your guys' ideas will get us canceled.
Joe, we can do a sports one. We gotta get MJ back on.
Yeah.
We'll do a
Yeah, this
sports
whole
one.
like last couple of games in the NBA is going to be interesting with the play-in. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get MJ back on. I don't know who else we can get on for that. But yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for showing up. And if anyone has a suggestion on maybe what other platforms to try to stream this on, let me know. But for now, I guess I'll just stick with YouTube, X, and Instagram. But thanks for stopping by, everyone. And this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, it was super fun.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.